Buenas, estamos en un nuevo video, día 4 de 30. Vamos 4 días sin romper la rutina de inglés. Así que, como siempre, escuchamos este audio que dura aproximadamente 8 minutos, respondemos las preguntas y cumplimos con nuestra cuota de inglés del día. Arrancamos.
And I tend to do things last minute. So I'm the type of person to pack the night before, and I'll usually book the flights maybe a couple of days before the holiday as well.
Generally, I really like kind of active, adventurous holidays. So I have to make sure there are lots of things to do. I don't like sitting on the beach, and I don't tend to kind of have lazy days.
Hello and welcome to Learning English Grammar. I'm Pippa.
And I'm Phil. We just heard George and Sean talking about the kinds of people they are when they plan holidays.
Today we're going to learn language to talk about tendencies, so that's our typical behaviour. We'll learn how to use the phrase tend to and the modal verbs will and might to talk about general behaviour.
Okay, so we probably know how to use will to talk about the future, but you may not have heard it used like this. So, Pippa, what kind of person are you when it comes to planning a holiday?
Well, I'm the kind of person who will plan a lot before I go. I tend to do quite a lot of research, but this doesn't make me boring, doesn't make me sad. It's because I like to enjoy it once I'm there. I like to relax when I'm there. I don't want to be booking things or worrying about where to eat. I want it all planned out beforehand.
Do you have a spreadsheet?
No.
I do.
Do you?
I have spreadsheets for planning things beforehand.
Yeah.
Because there's lots to think about.
Yeah.
And then when you're there, like you say, when you're there, you don't have to think about it. Now, let's hear more from George and Sean.
Yes, and pay attention to how they use tend to and the modal verbs will and might.
I tend to do things last minute. So I'm the type of person to pack the night before, and I'll usually book the flights maybe a couple of days before the holiday as well. And I just like a very relaxing holiday. So I might have a cup of tea at a cafe for an hour or so, and then a few hours later I might find myself relaxing on the beach. Who knows?
Generally, I really like kind of active, adventurous holidays. So I have to make sure there are lots of things to do. I don't like sitting on the beach, and I don't tend to kind of have lazy days. So like snowboarding or kind of water sports or traveling from place to place. I'm also very disorganized though, and I tend to book things at the last minute because I get really carried away with reading reviews, and then I get stressed about reading reviews, and then I don't book anything.
Okay, well, I heard both George and Sean use the phrase tend to. If you tend to do something, it means you usually do it.
I also heard will. George said he will usually book flights last minute. We probably know about using will for the future. I'll take the train home this evening. But here, George is using will to talk about his habits. Let's hear more from our grammar guru, Georgie.
Hello there. How can I help this time?
Well, Georgie, can you tell us about how George is using the modal verbs will and might?
Of course. So the grammar is quite simple. It's the same as it is when you use will to make future predictions, plans, or promises. We have the subject, then will, then a base verb. Like George's example, I'll usually book the flights last minute.
And I'll usually book the flights maybe a couple of days before the holiday as well.
Yes, or my daughter loves books. She'll spend hours reading most days. So, what's the difference between that and just using the present simple? She spends hours reading.
Well, there's actually no difference. George could say, I usually book flights last minute, or I'll usually book flights last minute, and it means the same.
Okay, and we also heard George use might.
Yes, the grammar of this works the same. The subject, then might, then a base verb.
I just like a very relaxing holiday. So I might have a cup of tea at a cafe for an hour or so, and then a few hours later, I might find myself relaxing on the beach. Who knows?
Might expresses more uncertainty than will. George is talking about options for things he likes doing on holiday. But again, he's talking about what he usually does, rather than what he might do on a future trip.
Okay, so what about tend to? The verb tend means to frequently behave in a certain way.
Right, so if you say, I tend to do something, it's the same as saying, I usually do something. The verb tend must also be followed by a base verb.
I tend to do things last minute.
Georgie, is there anything else we can learn from Sean and George?
Yes, actually. We heard George say, I'm the type of person to pack the night before. The phrase, I'm the type of person, can be followed by an infinitive verb with to, like in George's example, or you could say, I'm the type of person who packs the night before.
Right, so for me, I'm the type of person to plan a lot before I go on holiday, or I'm the type of person who plans a lot before I go on holiday.
Great! Well, that's all from me.
Thanks, Georgie.
Bye!
Okay, we're going to play a game to test what we've learned. One person will start a sentence and the other person is going to finish it in a way that makes sense with the context. Play along if you're listening. Try to think of your own endings to the sentences.
Let's get started.
Okay, first sentence. Try to use tend to here, Phil. Beth doesn't like traffic jams, so she...
Beth doesn't like traffic jams, so she tends to leave home early. Okay, your turn. Neil is the type of person...
Neil is the type of person to repeat his stories quite a few times.
Great. And remember, you can also say Neil is the type of person who repeats his story quite a few times.
Okay, last one. I like relaxing in the evening, so I
like relaxing in the evening, so I'll usually just listen to music.
What answers did you get? Email us at learningenglish@bbc.co.uk.
You can also tell us about your...
Perfecto. Ahora, si entendiste algo y si yo entendí algo, vamos a poder responder las preguntas. Vamos a ver. A ver, a ver, a ver. Ahí está. Es F11, start. We to visit family during to the holidays. We tend to visit, we might, we will to visit, we tend, we will, we might tend to visit. Wrong. Pero no me decís por qué está mal. Sigamos. Is this sentence correct? On a typical work day, I usually wake up at 8 a.m. On work day, yo usualmente, yes. When I was younger, I behaved well in class. I tend to, okay. I love music. You will usually, tú podrías, you eres de tipo, tú, you can, you find me in the record shop. You will, use will plus a base verb to talk about usual behavior. Tend must be followed by to. Okay, might is better for a certain situation and sounds strange when followed by usually. You will usually tend best to turn. Okay, creo que lo entendí. Which sentence is correct? I'm the kind of person to plan everything in advance. But I'm the kind of person who plans everything in advance. ¿Cuál es la diferencia? To plan, who plan, to. Okay. In a typical evening, I might going for a walk. I might, no. 4 de 6. Bueno, creo que estamos bien. Así que nada, 4 días de 30. Te veo mañana en no sé qué horario, pero te veo mañana para seguir practicando juntos. Adiós.